Hola, buenos días.
Buenas tardes, buenas noches.
This is Barb.
And this is Estela.
And welcome to
Cafecito.
And Crime. Hola, everyone. I hope everybody is having a wonderful day. This is me, your favorite hostess of the mostess, Barb. I don't know, I'm being weird. But anyway, so today we will be having an actual episode.
I know.
We're trying to get back on track, like we said before. So Estela is going to be bringing the first episode of our little fall off track. So what do you
Comeback track.
Comeback track. So
real.
what do you have for us? Where are we going?
For today's case, we are going to Dublin, Ireland.
Ireland. Okay. Have we been to Ireland? I want to say no.
No.
Right?
No, I don't think so.
I don't think we've been to Ireland. So if you'd like to come with us to Ireland, go ahead and grab your cafecitos.
And let's get started. Now, the fun, random, interesting facts. Porque más de uno.
Ahora hiciste más de uno.
Más de uno. Yes,
Ahora.
yes.
Okay.
The first one is that the author of the novela Dracula was born in Dublin.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Wait, but okay, I just hit the mic, so I'm sorry. So wait a minute. So is Dracula like the actual story or the...
Yeah, like it began as a novela.
As a novela?
Yeah.
Pero, so then you're like, was Dracula originated allí? Like that's where
The author, he was just born there.
Oh, okay.
It says in an area called Clontarf. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing stuff already and we haven't even really begun the episode. Pero
No pasa nada.
it's in the northern part of the city. Mm-hmm. Sí, and he wrote the novel in 1897.
Wow.
And then la hicieron la película y todo eso, yeah, you know, Pero él nació ahí in Dublin.
So, like, lo que está padre sobre eso is that you can see that the movie is black and white, but you know that there's blood, but you can't really see blood.
It's just dark.
It's just dark. Yeah. That's kind of cool, though, if you think about it.
Yeah. Now, the second random, interesting fun fact. Okay, so we all know Guinness, right?
Like Guinness World Record.
No, Guinness the...
Oh, I thought you said the Guinness World Record.
No, I just said Guinness, bitch.
Well, my first thing was Guinness World Records.
Well, Guinness, la cerveza or the...
el alcohol, pues.
El alcohol, pues, sí. It's an Irish dry stout.
A stout.
A stout, yes.
Okay.
I couldn't remember, but yeah.
Pero tiene alcohol.
Sí, well, yeah.
Okay.
It's an alcoholic beverage, pues, you know? So it's brewed at the Guinness Brewery, which is in Dublin, right? Mm-hmm. It's very famous. It's one of their... it's a very large tourist attraction in Dublin. Pero when the lease was signed for that brewery, for them to be able to brew it in that brewery, that lease was signed for that location on December 31st of 1759
The fuck?
by Arthur Guinness, you know, the creator. Mm-hmm. That lease initially was for 9,000 years.
What the fuck? Well, I mean, it's been a long time, pero 9,000 years?
It's been, I think, over 200 years.
Bitch, it's going to be out forever.
But obviously the lease is no longer in effect because the property was bought out. But, I mean, that's gangster. I'll be like, I'm going to sign this lease.
9,000 years, motherfucker.
Yeah, and I forgot, I think the lo que tenía que pagar al mes at the time, in the 1700s, it was like 45 euros then, but I think now, I can't remember. I did the conversion, pero ya no me acuerdo, but yeah.
You would think that eventually he would probably own the building, no?
Oh, they did. They bought it off. And then, well, they had to buy off the property también, so.
It's 9,000 years? Like, I'm going to be here for 9,000 years. Okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, get over it,
But
bitch.
isn't that crazy?
That is crazy. That's a lot. That's a
Like,
lot.
how did they come up with that? Obviously, he
Con
believed.
ese número, right?
He believed in the business.
I mean, and that's great. I mean,
look at it now.
Hey,
Yeah.
Pero tú dirías, hey, I'm going to buy 2 years. Like, if you're believing in yourself, like, dos, tres, pero
Maybe
9,000. 10?
Yeah.
Pero 9,000, güey, no mames. That's more power to you,
Gangster.
Mr. Guinness. You're a fucking gangster.
Yeah. So today we'll be discussing the case of Trevor Deely, and it's an unsolved case. I'll just say that right up front. And
You know I don't like unsolved cases.
I know, pero I don't think I've ever seen a case like this. Like, well, yeah, kind of like Asha Decree. ¿Te acuerdas que se fue out of her house y ya nunca la encontraron a la niña?
Sí, a la niña.
Pero you kind of remember they've kind of found like clues that she was in that farm, in that little farmhouse.
Sí.
Pero Trevor, he literally just vanished.
That's so fucking crazy to me. Like, then que nadie los ve, like, nobody.
No, he was walking home en la noche from being out. And he just never made it home.
Wow.
He just never made it home. No one knows what became of him, and his body has never been found. Yeah, it's just like I said, like he just vanished into thin air.
But you're probably going to tell us about, like, they might have suspects, or did they have suspects at the time?
We'll get into all of that. Pero también his disappearance has become one of Ireland's most famous unsolved missing persons cases.
Damn, till this day.
Till this day.
Hasta ayer.
Hasta ahorita.
Oh, shit.
So we'll begin. Let's get started. So Trevor Deely was born on August 15th of 1978 in Naas, where he grew up. So Naas is a suburb of Dublin. It's about 30 minutes outside of the city. Two parents, Michael and Anne Deely. Michael and Anne had 4 children in total. So it was Mark, Michelle, Pamela, and then Trevor. And he was the youngest. So Trevor grew up in a very loving family, had a good relationship with all of his siblings, with his parents.
¿Cuántos eran Anne, Trevor? ¿4? ¿3?
Cuatro.
Okay,
yeah, so eran dos hombres y dos mujeres.
Dos mujeres,
Yeah. As he grew up, he was described as very easygoing, always happy, just super relaxed, chill. Like,
can't relate. I cannot relate.
I'm stressed.
I'm not relaxed.
I'm unchilled.
I'm unchilled. Yeah, I cannot relate on that one. Thank you, Trevor, for letting us know how I am not relatable to this story.
Yeah. And he wasn't, he liked to watch sports and stuff like that, but he wasn't like a sporty person. Like he wasn't athletic.
He didn't want to play, but he liked to watch it, yeah.
And he also wasn't into academics like his siblings.
Okay.
And the one thing that he knew he was good at was math. He was into math, and he also liked computers. Pues.
My son is really into math. He was I don't know if anybody's heard of math bee. Kind of like a spelling bee, but a math bee. Yeah, he got top 4.
A math bee?
A math bee, yeah.
Oh, shit. I've never heard of a math bee.
Me neither, but he got a little award. He got a little award.
Is that the one that he came home con el balloon pegado al trophy?
He was in the math bee.
Yeah, cool.
I was like, okay, son, get it, boy. I might need help from that, and because I'm horrible at math.
Same. So after he graduated from secondary school, which is the equivalent of high school, from what I understood, he didn't really have any plans. He knew, like I said, he liked math and was very proficient at it. So he actually decided to enroll at the Waterford Institute of Technology, which was about 100 miles away from where he lived, from home, to study business. And at the same time, he got his little part-time job así trabajando en una supermarket.
Okay.
So it seemed like, he was trying to figure things out for himself, right? I mean, who actually knows what they want to do right out of high school, bro?
No, I have no idea who, because I know I didn't.
And that's okay.
100% okay.
That's okay.
We're okay with that. Yeah, for sure. Nobody expects for you to know.
Yeah.
It's okay.
So ultimately, Trevor decided that studying business no era para él, and he dropped out of the institute in his second year.
Okay.
But he would find something that was his calling, like something that he's like, okay, I found what I needed to do, or what I was meant to do. So one of his sisters, Michelle, told him about a computer course in Dublin that she thought he should try. And he did. And Michelle would later say to the Irish Times, which actually it's where they followed the story closely for Trevor. So it's where I got a lot of the articles is where I got my information from. She told the Irish Times, quote, "It was like turning a key in a lock for Trevor."
It was like, cling.
Yeah.
Como cuando dicen que in the cartoons que the light goes off.
Yeah.
The light bulb. Uh-huh.
She said he found what he really enjoyed, and he seemed to be really good at it as well. End quote.
Es como cuando estaban en el juego de la oca a ver cuál era la llave.
¿En qué?
En el juego de la oca, que volteaban la llave a ver cuál abría la door, and then you would get the prize.
En Mega Match?
En Mega Match. Yeah. I don't know why I thought about Mega.
Yeah. So he finished the course with 3 job offers.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Good for Trevor.
Yeah. And, he was trying to figure out which offer was going to be the best one. And he wasn't sure. So he asked his dad, Michael, for his input. One of the offers was to work for a bank.
¿Y qué hacía Michael? Did you mention that or did I miss it?
El papá?
Yeah. No.
No.
Oh, okay.
I haven't said.
Oh, okay.
One of the offers was from a bank, and that was the offer that his dad told him to take because working for a bank was a safer option than the other two. And I wasn't sure what the other two were. So in May
Hopefully not laundering money.
So in May of 1999, Trevor began working in the IT department for the Bank of Ireland Asset Management, which was in the commercial part of the city. And he joined a group of about 10 people. He was described by his manager at the time, Dara Tracy, I'm sorry, as almost the perfect employee.
Wow.
Yes. He was reliable.
Well, it's because when you like something, like te dan emoción de entrar a trabajar, like you want to be there.
Like you get up.
Maybe since he was into something that he really liked and he's like, hey, dude, I really love this job. I can't wait to go. And then, sometimes cuando no te gusta el trabajo, no quieres ir, güey.
A fuerzas tienes la cara
de caca, güey. Like, no quieres ir y no quieres ir. Pero hay unas veces cuando estás emocionado en empezar un trabajo nuevo, you are going to make the best of everything that you do. So maybe that's why.
What's that saying? If you do what you love, you never work a day in your life or something like that.
Yeah, that's true though. 100% believe that. More power to you, Trevor. Yes.
Like I said, he was reliable, always willing to help everyone, was eager to learn. He was ambitious and enthusiastic. And they said that he adapted really well to the fast-paced job. Mm-hmm. He got along with everybody, Barbie. He made friends very easily. And that's another thing about Trevor that, people would say that he loved people. He loved peopling. And he never met a stranger. And he always...
I can relate to that.
You love peopling?
Yes, I love peopling. I do.
Good for you. And he always had like a positive attitude. Just, he didn't let anything like bring him down. He just let everything just roll off the shoulder, which is, good for him.
Yeah, good for him.
Honestly,
Trevor.
I wish I could because I
Trevor,
can.
I got you, bro. You are awesome.
So Trevor obviously, moved into the city and into an apartment in the district of Sandymount, which was just on the south side of Dublin. He had 2 roommates, and they were girls. And I think one of them era una amiga de sus older sisters.
Did you say gross or girls?
Girls.
Oh, okay.
They got along very well, and they never had any issues. Trevor, like I said, he got along with everybody. So, you can tell now Trevor was early 20s. He had a stable job. He was living in the city. It seemed like his life was on track.
Good. He was set up.
He was set up. Yeah. He had a great job. He had his apartment and
he was making his little coin.
His little coin had, great friends and family.
See. I get that.
And as hard as Trevor worked, he also liked to let loose, He liked to go out with his close friends to pubs and clubs. And one of a close friend of his, Conleth, I think is his, I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing all these names. I'm so sorry. He went on to say that when they went out, they never went out with the intention of getting shit-faced. They always dice que they would go out for an ale and just had a smoke and they just hung out.
For a Guinness, that's going to be there 9,000 years.
Yeah.
Yeah? Uh-huh.
Now we're in the year 2000. Remember, Trevor began working for this company in 1999. Yeah. Mm-hmm. That summer, in the summer of 2000, Trevor met a girl from Alaska that was in Dublin visiting.
What? From Alaska?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and she was, like I said, she was visiting.
I want to live in Alaska.
I want to go to Alaska.
Bro, I want to live in Alaska so bad. I hate the heat.
A ver, espérame. Name a city in Alaska.
Alaskan. I don't know a city, but I'm just saying, I think that would be so cool.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Nada más déjeme vivir una semana. Just let me be cold and then I'll come home.
And be in the nature.
Be in the nature y luego ya me vengo.
Yeah.
Oh, but they be eating like they be putting their foods adentro de los like floor, right? Mm-hmm. Cuando it's frozen.
Like in the winters and stuff?
Yeah, in the winter. Y luego, like, I saw this lady, I don't know if this is true, but on TikTok, that's not always true. But la lady, she had like this like cleaver, like a meat cleaver that they make over there because they have Native Americans. And so then le agarraba la carne y se la comían así, and it was like whale. So they eat whale.
I don't want to do that.
I don't think I want to do that either. That's why I was bringing maybe carnita sí, pero whale no.
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 ¿Pero carnitas de whale?
Y luego también comían seal. No, I put my foot down. Never mind. I don't want to go to Alaska. Aquí me quedo. I like tacos.
Okay. So he met this girl. They became friends. Like I said, he never met a stranger. He was very easy to make friends with. He got along with everybody. And so, ya que la muchacha se fue and she returned home, they kept in touch.
Mm-hmm. Like long distance.
Yeah. And later that fall, in late November, Trevor made his way to Anchorage, Alaska.
Ah, I know one now, baby.
To visit her. La fue visitar. And I think he liked her, right?
He was digging her, a little something, something.
And one of his close friends from childhood, Glenn, who worked for an airline, was able to use his discount to get Trevor essentially a free flight.
Oh, wow.
Para que fuera Alaska. And Glenn goes on to say that was the last time he saw Trevor. It was when he was going through U.S. Customs at the Dublin airport. Because at el airport estaba trabajando Glenn, solo vio que, and he said that was the last time I saw him. Trevor flew alone from Dublin, had a layover in L.A., y de ahí se fue to Anchorage. He returned on December 5th, back home.
So sí se regresó.
Sí,
okay,
se alcanzó a regresar. And from the airport, he took a bus straight to Nace, to his parents' house. Y cuando llegó a la casa de sus papás, he began telling them like a little bit about the trip, just kind of started telling them, it was amazing. He said, I seen all these icebergs. It was the trip of a lifetime, le dijo a sus parents. Pero su dad, Michael, he had to leave for a meeting. So como que lo cachó de pasada solamente. Y le dijo a Trevor that they should just catch up during the weekend. And Trevor told him that he didn't know if he was going to be able to make it to Nace back in the weekend, ¿verdad? So he said they were going to keep in touch. But Michael would never be able to hear the rest of Trevor's adventures from Alaska, because that would be the last day that he would see his son también.
Wow.
So Trevor left his parents' house a couple of hours later and went home. And he had to get ready for work the next day. So this brings us to December 7th, which was the day that Trevor's office was going to have a Christmas party. It was a regular work day, which I believe ended at 4. I think every day they ended their workday at 4, to be honest. And Trevor and his coworkers, as they often did, went out for a couple of drinks after. So they were pre-gaming a little bit before the party. They first stopped at Copperface Jack's, which is a well-known bar and nightclub on Hartford Street, which is like right in the center of the city. And they were there for a couple of hours. So remember that. They went out pre-gaming before they went to the actual Christmas party dinner shindig. Afterward, they made their way to the Hilton Hotel, which is where the Christmas party was going to be held. And
how far was it?
Because they were walking.
Yeah, I was about to say. Yeah. Pero how far did they have to walk?
Look.
Oh, not far.
Yeah.
That's not far.
I mean, it's a very walkable city. That's the thing,
But because everybody walks there.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, you can take
como unas seis bloques.
Yeah.
Por decir algo, ¿verdad?
Yeah. But like I said, they walked to the Hilton. And they're having dinner. They have drinks and, whatever else goes on at the Christmas party. Se acaba el party, and Trevor and his coworkers made their way to Buck Whaley's, another bar.
So ya se acabó el party. So they went pre-gaming. Oh, wow. Pre-gaming. Después they walked to the Hilton Hotel.
And she already had her coffee, too.
Cállese el hocico. And then after that, they went to the...
Buck Whaley's.
No, espérate. They went to Hilton, partied up.
Until 2 in the morning.
Till 2 in the morning.
Yeah.
That's me partying it up. Y luego de allí, they walked...
To Buck Whaley's.
¿Y qué lejos estaba Buck Whaley's?
Buck Whaley's wasn't far either. And this was around 2 in the morning cuando llegaron a Buck Whaley's. And I'm going to explain.
So salieron a las 4. So
yeah, look, it was not far at all.
Oh, no. Is it like in the same area?
Yeah.
Literally.
You
like
just walk straight and then make a turn.
The Hilton? The Hilton es una, dos, tres, como 6 cuadras.
And we'll post all these pictures.
Yeah, y luego de allí daban vuelta y agarraban otras 3 cuadras y llegaban al Buck Whaley's.
Yeah. Buck Whaley's. So Buck Whaley's was on Leeson Street, which was known for its clubs and its pubs, and that it was like in after hours.
Okay.
So it was a street where you would see young adults such as Trevor frequent, after work and stuff. So andaba con sus coworkers and, and such.
No, él andaba paureando.
Yeah, he was partying, yeah. So Trevor spent about an hour and a half at Buck Whaley's and then left alone at 3:25 in the morning. As he exited the pub, he made his way south on Leeson Street toward his office building. for his job, which was a short walk away.
Let's take a quick break.
Persons of Interest is back, and it's bigger than ever.
That scream will echo in my head for many years.
Taser! 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 He's gonna shoot!
Oi! Shot fired! Shots fired! Shots fired!
Stay out! You got a gun on you!
He had the perfect aim.
I am absolutely stressed at that point. I have no idea where my officers are.
Persons of Interest available everywhere you get your podcasts.
So then iba para su office, pero ¿para dónde estaba su casa?
We'll get there.
Oh, okay.
When he makes it to the office building, because here's the thing, it was raining that night.
Oh, okay.
And so we're not really sure why he stopped at his office. We don't know if it was to just talk to his coworker, which we'll get to right now, or if he needed to pick up an umbrella because it was raining and he still needed to walk home. And I'll explain why he was going to walk home.
I was going to say maybe he forgot something.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he made it to the office building where he is captured by CCTV at the gate at 3:35 in the morning.
So it took him about a 5-minute walk.
Yes.
Okay.
5 to 10 minutes because he left over there at 3:25.
Oh, okay, my bad. 10 minutes.
There was a man that he chats with outside of the gate. Just you can see that they kind of exchange some words, right? Y se mete pa dentro. He's like unclinking the chain to get inside the office, the gate. He locks it back up and he walks inside. Inside, Trevor ends up asking a coworker named Carl, who was working the night shift, if he had time to chat with some tea or some coffee or something. And Carl was like, I'm like, what are they doing at the bank? But it was like, I forgot that for a moment. I was like, oh, it's IT. He was like, yeah, we have to run backups and all that kind of stuff, you know? So I was like, oh, that's why they work the night shift. So Carl le dijo, yeah, ahorita estoy ocupado. Give me a minute. And I'll get with you cuando ya, we have a time to talk or whatever. So in the meantime, Trevor sat at his computer and he turned it on. And he logged on, and they don't know if he sent an email or what he was doing or if he was reading emails to kind of get ready for the workday because he still had to work the next day. It's a morning, even though it was 3 a.m. So Carl and Trevor have their coffee and their chat about how the night went and such because I think Carl couldn't make it. He was supposed to también go to the party, pero no pudo because I think somebody was supposed to cover him, but al último no llegó, so he had to end up going to work. So hablaron y toda la cosa. And Carl goes on to say...
No, le dio el chisme, pues. Todo lo que ha pasado.
Le estaba dando the lowdown.
The lowdown,
And Carl goes on to say that Trevor, was he tipsy? Sure, a little tipsy, but he wasn't drunk, according to Carl. And he wasn't slurring his words. He was able to hold a conversation. Obviously, he walked from Buck Whaley's to the office building. He managed to unlock the gate y meterse pa dentro, and he was fine. So Trevor stayed about 20 minutes talking to Carl inside and left at 4:02 in the morning. 4:02 in the morning.
So you're right. Maybe he was like, let me open this. Let me see if this person answered my email or something. Open his emails y luego ya habló con Carl y se fue.
Yeah, and then you can see him. He leaves with an umbrella. It's an umbrella from the bank. He has like the logo and everything. Like I just said, the night had been rainy and cold and very windy. The winds were supposed to reach 60 to 70 miles per hour that night.
Damn.
Yeah. And like I said, I know where you're thinking, why didn't he take a taxi or whatever? There was actually a taxi strike.
Oh.
Yeah. There was a taxi strike going on at that time. So his only option was to walk.
He had to walk
the 30 minutes to his apartment.
That's a long walk, bitch.
Is it 30? Is 30 minutes a long walk though?
Well, to your house? Like, y luego tan tarde? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, but I don't know.
I mean, it's not a walk. Like, I don't feel like it would be a long walk así if you normally in the day. Pero estábamos a 4 de la mañana. Like, at this time, I would probably think about it twice.
But that's what I'm thinking. But he's a man.
I mean, yeah, but still, I mean, anybody, it doesn't matter. You still can get killed.
Yeah, I know. But I mean, was this the first time that he ever walked that late at night?
I have personally not talked to him, so I don't know.
Yeah. And actually, if I'm not mistaken, from what I read on a couple of sources, the taxi strike actually ended the very next day.
That's so fucked up.
Yeah.
That's so fucked up.
So like I said, Trevor exited the office building at 4:02. A couple of minutes later, he called his friend Glenn one last time and left him a voicemail telling him that he would talk to him later in the day. Because throughout the night, while Trevor was out, Glenn had tried calling him, pero no lo podía ir. And then Trevor le regresaba la llamada, pero no lo podía ir because Glenn was also out, but he was back in Nace. So they were just they were playing
phone tag.
Yeah. So al último, Trevor was like, let me just call him up, being like, hey, I'll call you in the morning. I'll talk to you in the morning. And left, like I said, he left him a voicemail. At 4:14 a.m., and this comes up later, but I'm just going to mention it here. Trevor would be seen for the very last time ever on CCTV walking past the Bank of Ireland in the rain, holding an umbrella on Haddington Road and Bagot Street Bridge. His back is, he's walking away from the camera, so his back is to the camera as he walks out of the frame. And not even, which will come up later, and a lot of people think that this, if they found who this person was, it was actually going to break the case wide open. But after you see him walk out of the frame, you see, not even 30 seconds later, somebody else walk behind him. And it's like somebody in all black. But it's fucking 2000, grainy pictures, it's not what it is now.
And they were all wearing probably dark clothes.
Jackets,
like jackets, coats, or whatever. Yeah.
So,
or it could have been me because I wear black all the time.
I just sent you a meme earlier today about some
black stuff.
Yeah. So later that morning, which was now Friday, December 8th, Trevor didn't show up for work, which was very unusual for Trevor. And like I said, that was the thing. Trevor liked to go out and, have drinks and stuff, but he never let that get in his way of his job. Like
he was preparing. Like he opened his email. He did this. Like he was preparing himself to know that he was going to be at work the next day.
Yeah. So
there was
he
no
would
way
always
that
showed up.
He was like, oh, I'm not going to come.
Right.
Yeah.
His manager thought that, oh, well, it was a Christmas party yesterday. Yeah, this is not like Trevor, but he was out really late and I'll let it slide for today, but I'll definitely discuss it with him on Monday. Right? Así quedó. Over that weekend, various people tried calling and getting in touch with Trevor, but they were unsuccessful, including his sister Michelle.
Oye, ¿y qué dijeron the roommates? Like, what time did they see him come in or anything? Did anybody see him?
No, we'll get there.
Oh, okay.
So his sister Michelle would later say that she didn't think anything of it. Michelle lived in London, if I'm not mistaken, and they were in Dublin, and his parents lived in Nace. And then his brothers lived elsewhere también. When Monday arrived, and again, he didn't show up for work, his employer became concerned, especially since they discovered that various people that he worked with had actually tried to reach him over the weekend and nobody could get in contact with him. So they reached out to Trevor's parents. And Ann Deely received a phone call at around 10:30 in the morning that Monday to let her know that Trevor hadn't been to work in a couple of days, including Friday of the past weekend. So Anne called her husband, Michael, who was at work and where he worked at was actually close to where Trevor lived. So Anne asked her husband que fuera and knock on Trevor's apartment
buscarlo, pues.
Yeah, buscarlo, sí. So mandó a su husband to go knock on Trevor's door, and she also reached out to some of Trevor's friends who told her that they actually hadn't spoken to him since Thursday, which was the day of the party, December 7th. So Anne also called her oldest son, Mark, who left Castlebar, which is where he lived, and made his way to Nace immediately when they, learned that nobody had seen or hadn't contacted Trevor in some days. So at Trevor's apartment, donde estaba su dad, nobody answered the door. I actually don't know where the roommates were. I have no idea. There was never any information about if they...
Did they talk to the police or anything?
I'm pretty sure that they did, but they never found anything at Trevor's apartment or anything about as far as any clues of que le hubiera pasado.
Which is weird because, I would think that that's where the biggest information would be porque después de que llegó, then...
Pero no llegó.
Pero that's what I'm saying. Pero that's what I would be like, okay, so when's the last time did you see him?
Yeah.
Or whatever. I don't know. That's just me personally because, in my head, I'm an investigator.
Yeah. Well, obviously, I'm sure they talked to the friends and stuff, the roommates, but nothing came out of it.
Yeah, you're right.
So by that evening, on Monday, Michael, Glenn, and other friends reported him missing to the Nace Garda, which is, I guess, the police department. And the search began on December 12th, which was Tuesday.
That's a lot of days, though.
Exactly.
Thursday, Friday. Yeah.
Like 4 days.
Yeah, uh-huh.
Like I said, they actually reported, the investigation began that Tuesday. Pero before then, Mark, cuando él llegó initially, that he found out that Trevor was missing, when he made it to Dublin, he went to Copperface Jack's, the first club where he knew that Trevor had gone. And he asked around, hey, has anybody seen him?
Yeah,
he was here, blah, blah, blah. and trying to get any information about Trevor, but they couldn't give him any information. So he walked the route that he knew Trevor would have taken to get from his apartment, from those bars to his apartment, hoping that he could find any type of clues or anything like that.
My bad. I just hit the...
And he stopped in alleyways to look for Trevor, hoping, maybe thought he... A lo mejor estaba en a trash bin, a lo mejor le pasó algo. He was in an alleyway or algo así.
But nobody had contacted the police before? Like, this was the first time that the police had heard anything?
And this was Monday by this point, you know, and this had happened over past weekend. And he actually también stopped in front of the American Embassy because it was on the way to his apartment. And he asked one of the guards that was outside if him or any of the other guards that would stand outside knew of any type of disturbance that would have happened on the day that he, you know, disappeared. And the guard le dijo que no, that he didn't know anything. But the guard did mention to him that that weekend, or actually that week, President Clinton was going to be in Dublin. So his security team had actually cleared the place since the week before. So if anything regarding to Trevor or anything weird or suspicious would have happened, Clinton's security detail would have found it.
Yeah.
Because they had to sweep the area.
Yeah, they had to pay really close attention. Yeah.
So they didn't find anything. As I mentioned, the Garda search for Trevor began on Tuesday the 12th. They searched his apartment, retraced Trevor's steps of the night that he went out, but were unsuccessful in finding any clues. They searched all over the area with dogs and air units. They searched industrial bins, manholes, parks, vacant buildings, the railway line. There was also a detailed search of the Grand Canal, because obviously there's canals that run through Dublin. And the Grand Canal ran between Leeson Street and Bagot Street. So that was searched by an aqua team. It was thought that maybe, a lo mejor él se cayó en el agua and he got swept away. Maybe he was inebriated. He drowned or something.
Which is weird because he had already spent some time and he wasn't drinking anymore.
He had tea or coffee, right?
Coffee, como que ya se había pasado algo.
Yeah.
I mean, even if he was really drunk, ya con ese tiempo de cuando he walked to his job, had the tea, by the time that he talked to Carl, by the time that he walked home, ya se le había pasado
Pero
algo.
Carl también dijo que he wasn't shit-faced.
Yeah, so...
They then searched farther than the canal to Dodder River, which is one of three main rivers in Dublin. And again, nothing. So the Grand Canal and the Dodder River were easy searches. The Grand Canal was like searching in a pool. That's what they described it as. And the Dodder River was, that they said that the team that was searching it didn't even need a wetsuit, that they could just walk through it. So those were easy searches. But it was a different story for the Grand Canal Basin, which is also known as the Grand Canal Docks. From what I understood, it is an enclosed harbor that meets a river that se hace grande. And it's surrounded by like condos and like other buildings. So they searched it, but again, no clues either. According to Detective Sergeant Fitzgerald, the only way to be sure that Trevor isn't there would be to drain it, but that would never happen. Because he said that those buildings would actually fall in if they were ever to drain So now Trevor's family and friends hit the ground running as soon as they found out that he was missing. Detective Sergeant Fitzgerald again went on to say that he had never worked on a case where the family was so proactive, and so much so that it seemed like the police couldn't keep up with them as far as the search went. They put up hundreds of posters of missing posters all over the city, and also passed out thousands of flyers with Trevor's description. He was around 6'1", 6'2", slim build, short reddish brown blonde hair, and he had green eyes. And he was last seen wearing a yellow and brown shirt and beige cord trousers. They also went house to house, into pubs, into clubs and restaurants. On Christmas Day, they spent it, looking around for Trevor, they went to the area where there was homeless people, thinking that maybe alguien le dio un chingadazo and maybe he andaba con una concussion. He didn't know where he was or anything like that.
Yeah.
The search even extended up to Castle Bar, which is donde vive el hermano. And that was about 3 hours away from Dublin. They even went and searched his friends they went in search of CCTV footage from the area before police.
I'm not surprised.
Before the police, yeah. And it was actually, like I mentioned, one of Trevor's friends before, Conless Lunan, who brought up the CCTV, the idea of CCTV footage. He worked for a communication company at the time that supplied the CCTV equipment. So they went into businesses around the area that he would have walked and asked to see if they had any CCTV footage of that night. And there was only one place that had footage of Trevor. And as I mentioned earlier, it was the Bank of Ireland on Bagot Street. And they actually got the footage just in time because the recordings were like on a 28-day cycle before they were wiped. And the time was coming up for that tape crazy. To get wiped. So they collected the footage. They
don't know. They didn't catch anything.
No, they collected the footage, but it kind of created some sort of tension with the Garda because they were like, hey, you need to let us do our jobs here. They were like, so they turned over the tape to the Garda,
But it's like, I don't think they were doing it to kind of compete with them. They were just trying to help.
Right.
But even in one of our stories that we've done before that the family did that, remember that one story that I did on the girl that got on the wrong, ¿cómo se llama? On the wrong Uber?
Yes. Sammy.
Yeah. Or Sam. And so for her, the same. Her family was out there. They were looking, and they were just. North Carolina police was like, "Wait a minute, y'all need to chill out. Like, what's going on?" They're like, "No, we're just trying to hurry up because we want to find
time is of the essence."
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't think that they were doing it in a bad.
No, of course not. But according to the Garda, they're already on their way to do that. They just beat us to it, but they're already on their way.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I'm sure they were. Yeah.
I'm sure they was. Not that we would never think that you weren't.
And it was that recording that actually showed them, that Trevor would pass by at 4:14 in the morning, y que luego miró that other person walking behind him not long after. Mm-hmm. So, Trevor's search continued into 2001.
Damn.
There were publicity campaigns all over the place to raise awareness for Trevor's disappearance. His case was the leading story in Crime Line, which is a show where they asked the public to come forward with any information about a current investigation. They would dramatize it. And they actually showed the CCTV footage también of him walking. Now, I'm not sure where in the investigation this happened, but Detective Fitzgerald and another member of the Garda even made their way to Anchorage, Alaska to interview that girl.
Wow.
That
they went, they probably thought, maybe se fue.
Yeah, because he went in December and then he disappeared. He went in November, I'm sorry, and then he disappeared in December. I mean, he disappeared right after he came back.
Yeah.
So they found the young woman that Trevor went to go visit. That also came back with no results. And even his siblings went after them and go talk to the girl también.
Damn.
Yeah, y nada. And the investigation remained that way, Barbie, for years.
Wow.
Years. Until this day, honestly.
Pobrecito.
Which is really sad. He has never been found. And neither has any of his belongings. He had a Nokia cell phone. His Nokia cell phone has not been found. Not the umbrella that he was using that night.
Pero no había ways to connect the towers because he was calling his friend.
But in 2000?
Well, I mean, you're right.
Not the umbrella, not his shoes, not his wallet. Nothing. Nothing has been found of Trevor. Nothing.
Wow, that's so
nothing.
Crazy.
Now, in 2000, for the 10-year anniversary of his disappearance, an age progression, a picture of Trevor was released. And, his family, of course, made a public appeal for any information really regarding Trevor, what happened to Trevor, which they had done previously in the years before that and would continue to do it in the years after.
Yeah.
Now, in 2016, the Garda cold case team reviewed Trevor's case and launched a new investigation. And part of the investigation was to enhance the CCTV footage from early the morning of the hours of December 8th.
Because that's all they had at this point, yeah.
So they sent the footage to a UK-based firm where they enhanced the footage, and then they released it to the media in April 2017. Mm-hmm. This footage is not the video of him walking and then somebody walks behind him in by the bank at 4:14 in the morning. No, this was footage that hadn't been seen before by the public. So it shows that 30 minutes before Trevor made it to his office building, there was a man waiting outside the first gate at his job. Because Trevor se metió by the se metió para adentro through the second gate. Look, I'm going to show Barbie a picture.
Let me see.
And then the man was by the first gate 30 minutes before Trevor showed up.
So somebody was standing on this gate right here.
Yes.
And then he entered here.
Yes.
Pero he didn't have any...
We'll get there. So you see him. So you see this man walk up to the gate y se para ahí. And then he's just moving around through in that little space area. He's just standing there. And then you see other people pass by at that time también. And he got there at 3:05 in the morning. And then at 3:34, the man moves to the second gate, which is the second gate. Y luego llega Trevor. And you can kind of see them have a conversation, like they exchange words.
Oh, it looks like they were looking at each other. Well, they're almost the same height. Nada más que Trevor's way thinner than that person.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see that. Okay, so they actually talk to each other.
Yeah.
But this is not the same guy that you told me before that had talked to him?
Okay, look, I'm going to show Barbie the video.
So that guy was there, and now he's standing over here.
Yeah.
And then, okay, now you see Trevor. No, the guy's now standing on... That's the guy. There's no way that's Trevor because Trevor's thin.
No, ahorita viene. Ahorita sale.
He está parado allí nada más como... He's smoking, I think. Y luego he's going to the edge of it.
Yeah, he's like on the edge of the gate, right?
The gate. Oh, and then Trevor... No, somebody else walked by.
Yeah, just like people are still walking by.
Yeah.
People are still out. I mean, there's a taxi strike. People are walking home, you know?
Yeah. Okay, and then he moved from the front. So Trevor is there now. Y algo le está diciendo, and Trevor's trying to get inside.
Yeah, they're just kind of having like a exchange of words.
Yeah. Pero luego the guy's just standing there, and then he's looking to the side, and Trevor's still struggling to get the door open.
So I think he has like a chain, like a lock.
Yeah, like a chain, and the guy's just standing there, and
Yeah.
Trevor, sí, luego se metió.
And then he locks it, and then he
locks it,
he
yeah.
walks inside. Now, well, obviously we'll post this too, so you can see. So I'll just again summarize it like a little bit. At 3:34, the man moves from the first gate to the second gate and stands at the edge of it. Not even a minute later, Trevor walks up to the gate, and they have an exchange of words, and then Trevor goes inside.
Pero the guy never moves. O sea, hace cuenta que está la gate, y the guy never leaves from Trevor's side while he's trying to open the gate.
Yeah, he's just standing there.
He's just standing there and being weird. And you can see Trevor trying really hard to open the gate quickly, probably.
Para meterse para adentro.
Para meterse, yeah.
Now, it was believed that the man who spoke to Trevor outside of the gate of his workplace was the man that followed behind him when he walked by the bank at 4:14 in the morning. But we'll later come to find out that was not the case. No. But we'll get to that at the end.
There's no way I could tell that it wasn't the same guy.
So Trevor goes in, and then, so aside from that, and I thought this was really weird, and I didn't show you this part, but so Trevor goes in, and then when he goes into the building, remember that guy is still outside.
Yeah.
Not even 2 minutes later, 3 men pop up.
Allí parados con el guy.
Yeah, but it's not in this footage. I'm going to show you that video too. It's really creepy. And there have been some reports that say that 2 of those men were actually Trevor's co-workers, the guy that was standing there, that had been standing there.
So they were all
3 outside.
They were all 3 of them Trevor's co-workers then?
No, just 2.
Just 2
The
of
other
them.
one is just that guy that was there talking to Trevor when he first came up.
So, okay. What the fuck? And they're all looking inside.
Isn't that creepy?
One, that's the guy that was already there.
Yeah.
Y luego...
There's somebody in the back holding an umbrella.
Yes.
And then the guy that's just like looking inside the railings like this.
That's creepy. That's fucking creepy.
Like I said, some reports say that the guy with the umbrella in the back and the one that's holding the railings looking inside, it's been reported that those 2 were 2 of his co-workers and just were outside for a smoke break. But that other guy is just a guy that was already there talking to Trevor that had been staying at the gate for the first time. So I just thought, that's fucking weird.
Weird as hell.
That's weird. Now, obviously, the Garda released that enhanced footage in hopes of identifying that man that was talking to Trevor that had been there 30 minutes before. They wanted him to obviously come forward and speak to him about the night or the early mornings of, December 8th. They were asking también the public if anyone knew who he was to come forward And at that time, there was actually a reward of 100,000 euros for any information that would help move the case forward. That reward was actually put up by an anonymous donor.
Oh, wow.
Which I think just goes to show how much people actually wanted to, find Trevor or find out any information about what happened to him. But no one ever came forward as far, in regards to the identity of that guy. Like nobody, he never came forward. If anybody knew him, nobody ever said anything. So remember, that happened in April 2017.
Yeah.
And that same April, Garda did receive new information from what was reported a credible source.
Okay.
The credible source stated that Trevor was killed by a well-known criminal from Crumlin the night he disappeared and that his body had been buried in that area.
That credible source found this out how?
I'm not sure, to be honest. And that supposedly they just happened to bump into each other that night by they just happened to bump into each other. Something happened. Trevor saw. So
that guy supposedly was that.
No, nobody said that. It's just, because this information that they received had nothing supposedly to do with the CCTV footage that they had released.
Okay. That's kind of fucking weird and just out of the nowhere.
Yeah, but it was a credible source. I don't know what the credible source was, but an intensive search for Trevor's remains began on August 14th of 2017 in a wasteland of Chapelizod in Dublin, which was about 5 miles away from where Trevor was last seen. So the area where they searched was 3 acres.
Which is the closest area maybe where they had like some...
Whatever this credible source said.
Yes. Okay.
Unfortunately, the search ended 6 weeks later after not finding any remains or any clues in regards to Trevor. Now, this was actually recently that just happened. So in December of 2023...
What?
The Garda was able to identify the man who walked behind Trevor in the CCTV footage at 4:14 in the morning.
The second guy.
Uh-huh. Okay, Trevor was walking with the umbrella. Yeah. He walks, okay? So I know you're like, how did they identify this person, right?
Yeah, because you couldn't see shit.
Yeah. Well, apparently that footage también was enhanced by the UK-based company. And I don't know how they managed to do it, if they got more CCTV footage of that same man walking from other areas and they were able to...
Le dio la luz or something?
Yeah, if they were able to identify him. So they spoke to this man. Mm-hmm. And they concluded that he was actually not following Trevor that night. He just happened to walk behind him that night. Just like there were other people across the street walking that same night too. And actually, they had already talked to this guy at the very beginning of the investigation. So they already knew. I don't know if they just forgot that they had, that was the guy.
That's weird.
Yeah. So because at the beginning of the investigation, obviously, they asked the public if anybody who was in that area at that time to come forward.
And he came forward?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
And other people did as well, and nobody recalled seeing anything out of the ordinary around that time or remembered any type of disturbance. Now, it was also concluded, like you said, that the man that was waiting for him outside the gate was not the same man that followed him. And
the guy that was at the gate estaba gordo.
Estaba un poquito más ancho.
Tenía back fat. For sure, yo le miré. Estaba lo mudo.
Through the jacket?
Through the jacket. Y el otro muchacho que pasó estaba más delgado.
Yeah.
Y más alto. Yeah.
Now,
I would be horrible to describing people to the police. I would be like, sí, el que estaba lo mudo pasando allí, ese ha de haber sido.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So that first guy that was walking behind him was identified, but the one that was by the gate has never been identified to this day.
So if those other two guys were his coworkers that Trevor, then why didn't they say who they didn't know who he was tampoco?
I don't think so, no.
Well, they could have given a better description of him.
But if they did, what does that have to do? Like, what you can describe somebody.
Shit, man, it's pissing me off.
And then, well, obviously, Trevor's family continues to search for him to this day. And that's it. That's where his case remains as far as the public knows. That's it.
There's no way that's it.
That's it. It's like they never moved from square one. It's like they've always just been...
They never moved. Like there's not been... this credible source was not credible, obviously. Y luego, like, nobody remembers seeing him. Like, there's no way que de donde pasó allí a las 4 hasta su casa, nobody's seen anything.
And from, like we said, from his job, he would have walked home 30 minutes. But
Yeah.
how do we know how close he got to his actual apartment?
Exactly.
Or maybe because they were, I mean, I guess it makes sense. I don't know what I didn't think about it. Maybe there were he would have passed other cameras, other CCTV footage, and he never made it to those other CCTV footage by his apartment.
Okay, which
Right.
makes sense. Pero, I mean, let's say que pasó. So then you said the last one. So none of the other places that were around there could have found anything.
Right.
Okay. Well, I mean, if that's what you say. I don't know about this one. This is going to make me question everything in life, to be honest.
That's it.
That's it.
I mean, obviously there's a lot of theories, I was reading on Reddit and, but, obviamente, he didn't leave on his own.
No.
Algo le pasó.
Sí, algo le pasó. Because he was on his way. You can see that he was walking with the purpose. Like, él sabía que se iba para su casa and he knew that he needed to get there.
He was going to go work.
Because it was late.
And he was going to work the next day.
And he was going to work the next day. He was walking with the purpose. You could see if whenever you post those pictures or those videos online on Instagram, people will be able to see. And if you see what I'm talking about, let us know because I saw him. He's walking with the purpose. Like he's not walking nada más así.
And you can see que estaba,
like,
lloviendo.
Estaba lloviendo. Y él sabía que tenía que llegar a su casa y que era tarde.
Paró por una umbrella.
Yeah.
And he called his friend Glenn. He was like, hey, I'll talk to you later.
Yeah, that's crazy, but I don't know about this one, Stella.
And a lot of people think, well, not a lot of people, but it was believed that, okay, maybe it was raining. Maybe somebody hit him with the car and they just got rid of the body or something. But people were saying, no, because if somebody would have hit him with the car, that would have
been commotion. Somebody would have looked.
Right. That person would have had to gotten his car fixed. The place that, let's say, he did for whatever reason, not that he did, we're just saying, allegedly, if somebody had hit him with the car, that person would have had to gotten their car fixed. The garage or whoever mechanic fixed the car would have probably come forward or said something,
Somebody.
Because a lot of people were like, his missing posters were all over the city.
There was no way that somebody would have missed it.
Yes.
Okay. I know. Well, this is the story of
Trevor Deely.
Let us know what you think. Let us know, please, because this one's too much. And if anybody that is out there knows anything about the case or has ever heard of it, let us know what you've heard.
Something that I didn't mention or missed here.
Yeah, that would be wonderful, and we'll update you in a future episode. So if you'd like to follow us or send us a DM or anything like that, you can follow us at
Cafecito and Crime Pod on Instagram, and you can also download our episodes. Rate us, download our episodes, please. Yes.
And if you don't mind sharing, because we're trying to grow a little bit. I mean,
a lot of it,
yeah. And so let us know what you think, and we'll talk to you in the next one. Bye.